Back in high school, I had a few mutual acquaintances that, as individuals, were some interesting, unique, and relatively likable people overall. But whenever these two were in the same room as each other, you knew you were in for a few moments of humorous, competitive banter before next thing you know, it felt like two children desperately trying harder than the other to retain your attention. Well, it's only the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm already getting a very similar vibe from the titular duo. Holy hell does the tension at times in the relationship between these two feel forced. We get it. You didn't necessarily sign up to be friends or anything relating to the term, but some of the back and forth between these two feels so uncalled for and out of place given some of the situations they end up in. Now, even though I mean that, thank goodness it's not like the show is falling apart by any means because of it, and we do have another solid entry to the series to break down and discuss here. However, before I do, it would be enormously appreciated if you took the quickest of moments to hit the subscribe button followed by the notifications bell so you can always keep up with future content coming to this channel. This episode begins with a commercial for the Global Repatriation Council, an organization attempting to restore order and peace after everyone returned from the blip, and totally doesn't have some sort of evil doings happening in the background, and immediately takes us to a mission led by knockoff Captain America to infiltrate the foreign guy's home that the Flag Smashers were camping out at in the preceding episode. But new Cap's interrogation skills prove to be lackluster when he attempts to find the location of Carly Morgenthau, and he kinda cracks under the pressure a bit when he gets spat in the face.
Do you know who I am?
Yes, I do, and I don't care.
Yeesh. Great start to the new run, Cap. Shift gears over to Berlin where Bucky and Sam go to visit Zemo, but only Bucky goes in to speak to him. And sure as shit, just like I threw out in my last review, Zemo's first words to Buck is longing, followed by the next few words that would normally activate the Winter Soldier. But Bucky shows his resiliency, and the whole conversation boils down to Zemo agreeing to give some information on the Super Soldier Serum if they break him out of prison. Sam wholeheartedly disagrees, but it turns out that Bucky already went through with providing some assistance, and eventually Sam hesitantly agrees to Zemo being the third wheel of the episode. They all hop onto Zemo's private plane because, oh shit, that's right. Did anyone else forget that he's an actual baron? Dude's mad rich, and they make their way to Madripoor, but need to do so undercover, which is especially shitty for Bucky since he needs to pretend to be the Winter Soldier again. Down at a GRC resettlement camp, Carly visits a sick woman in what clearly appears to be her final moments, and we quickly move back over to Bucky, Sam, and Zemo being escorted to a bar so they can have a meeting with a woman named Selby. She reveals that the Super Soldier Serum is in Madripoor, being worked on by Dr. Wilfred Nagel, and has been sought out by the villainous Power Broker. The meeting starts off well, but it quickly goes south when Sam, who's in character as the Smiling Tiger, gets a phone call from his sister and is demanded to answer it on speaker. Sam does his best to play it off like it's some typical villain bad guy stuff, but before the call ends, she calls him Sam, which leads to everyone fighting, and then Selby gets shot, but by someone outside the room. As the trio attempt to nonchalantly make their exit, everyone in the crime-ridden slum get the message that Selby's been killed, and they go after the heroes. And villain. But they're saved by an ace shooter who we find out to be Sharon Carter. And as sour as she is about being on the run after the events of Captain America Civil War, she caves in and decides to help when Sam says he'll get her name cleared to return home. Sharon's intel takes them directly to Dr. Nagel where they have a very revealing conversation about how he successfully recreated the Super Soldier Serum from Isaiah Bradley's blood, but made it advanced in the sense that it didn't need to give someone a picture-perfect physique via a metal contraption in order to give them powers. His serum would keep people as they are, just enhanced. Time fades quickly for them as many people discover their location, and Jesus, man, Sharon goes to town on a wave of guys in a way that gives Black Widow a run for her money. Eventually, she heads in to get everyone to get out of there, but Zemo shoots Dr. Nagel, and one of the bad guys outside fires a rocket to blow the place up. And holy shit, I guess that purple mask must give Zemo an extra pep in his step, because he sure as hell didn't seem anywhere near as badass in Captain America Civil War. They all find an opportunity to escape, but Sharon stays behind. I'm gonna call her right now. It's a shot in the dark, but something just doesn't seem right here, and I got a feeling Sharon is working for the Power Broker, and that she's the one who shot Selby. Carly has a discussion with a fellow super dude while scoping out a GRC building, and reminisces of when they first took the serum. Based on how she's talking about it, she doesn't appear to have evil intentions necessarily, and it's made out to be that much more obvious that the Power Broker is the true villain at hand here. Knockoff Cap and Battlestar find out that Zemo broke out of prison on the same day that Sam and Bucky went to visit him, and Cap is like, I'm not fucking stupid, I know they did it. Then it cuts over to the plane ride home where Sam admits he made a mistake by giving up the shield, claiming he should have destroyed it instead. Not so sure how he would have went about doing that, but well, whatever. Bucky replies with a new goal he intends to set out on: take back the damn shield for himself. Fuck yeah, Buck. I love how when they're having this conversation, Zemo pops by with some treats and a smirk on his face like, that's right, tear yourselves apart from the inside. Cut over to the Flag Smashers raiding the GRC facility they were staking out earlier. They steal a bunch of supplies, and then Carly blows the place up with people still inside. Maybe she's kind of fucking evil after all. Lastly, Bucky heads off on a mini side quest when he finds some intriguing metal balls that lead him to Io, or I don't know how you pronounce the name, but she's from Wakanda, and she claims she's here for Zemo. Then the episode ends. So, there's the breakdown of episode 3, Power Broker. I really enjoyed the tone of this episode. It further places it in the realm of more down-to-earth than the majority of other entries in the MCU, and even though I love me some superheroes using their superpowers, it's always great to see a well-executed story of some non-superpowered characters in action, so long as it's in a setting that is realistic to what their characters are capable of handling. This was a great piece of development to the overall story, and it's got me chomping at the bit to get a better understanding of what's going on here. I'm not trying to ask for too much too early, but I guess in a good way it's just my curiosity rising and wondering, what is this all leading to and what purpose does it serve? Because it clearly isn't meant to be a typical by-the-book buddy cop episodic adventure. I've been having such a hard time gauging Carly and the Flag Smashers' objective and intentions and whether they're actually heroes in their own right or not, that I've decided to stop bothering with the guesses for now. We didn't get a hell of a lot of action here, but the bits we did were awfully entertaining with Black Widow 2.0, and Zemo showed us all that some good old solitary jail time can turn you into a badass mixed martial artist with expert weapon handling. Not much development with John Walker. However, him taking notice of Bucky and Sam's actions with breaking out Zemo are undoubtedly going to lead to a troubling situation when they inevitably meet again, and him not being able to keep his temper in check is a noticeable foreshadow to his dark turn that is surely soon to come. But something I want to end off on here deals with a fan Photoshop picture of Bucky. At first, I thought it just looked cool, but then that chick from Wakanda popped up at the end of this episode, and I remembered something that Bucky threw out in the second episode, and it made me think more about this and figured, why not throw it out there? Hypothetically speaking, if Bucky doesn't end up becoming the new Captain America by the end of this, and Sam does, or I guess it really doesn't matter who does, but anyway, Bucky could make the White Wolf his official new mantle. What if part of Black Panther 2 is Shuri making Bucky a White Wolf suit that shares similar qualities to the Black Panther suit we're familiar with? Now, what's interesting here is in the comics, the White Wolf is the adopted brother of T'Challa, and not necessarily on the best of terms with his brother. You see, even though he was raised alongside T'Challa since his childhood, the White Wolf was denied the opportunity to be king of Wakanda and would later on be exiled by the rightful ruler. Now, it's evident from the moment they called Bucky this name in Infinity War, they were not going the same direction as the comics. Not a huge surprise there, especially since this situation fit well and felt deserving to drop the nickname on him. And obviously, any storyline involving T'Challa directly is unfortunately not a possibility any longer. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. So even though there's a strong chance this could be the new superhero role for Buck, where they would decide to take it is a complete toss-up. Perhaps Sam could indeed be the new Cap of the Avengers, and White Wolf could be the new Black Panther. It could be cool to explore, and we've seen crazier things. So tell me what you're all thinking about all this. Do you think there's any legitimacy to Sharon working for the Power Broker, or is that just a bunch of nonsense? If she is, what would her endgame be? When and where do you think Zemo will officially turn on the good guys and make his escape? Because we all know it's damn near guaranteed to happen. And most importantly, will Sam and Bucky ever get along? Like the video if you enjoyed this content, leave all those opinions, thoughts, and theories of your own down in the comments, and I'll catch you at the next review.